Of kidnapping a woman and keeping her in a cinderblock cell in Klamath Falls is facing a new federal indictment.
The indictment accuses him of trying to escape from jail and kidnapping a second woman last summer. Fox 4's Drew Reeves is in studio with more on these new charges. Good morning.
Good morning. Yeah, Nagasi Zuberi was originally facing a 2-count federal indictment for kidnapping-related charges. He now faces an 8-count indictment, which includes 2 counts of kidnapping. He's accused of kidnapping a second woman that allegedly happened on May 6th of last year, though no details were actually given about that crime. The kidnapping would be 2 months before Zuberi was arrested in Reno, Nevada, after a woman allegedly escaped from a cinderblock cell at his rental home and flagged someone down for help. Federal prosecutors say that in July, Zuberi had kidnapped that woman from Seattle after posing as an undercover police officer, and then drove her 450 miles to Klamath Falls, sexually assaulted her, and locked her in a cell. The indictment also accuses Zuberi of trying to escape his jail cell in Jackson County. It says that maintenance workers heard unusual noises coming from Zuberi's cell, and deputies found him on his bunk bed near a window that appeared to be chipped. And we have a new trial date for Zuberi now. His federal trial is expected to begin in early October and last 3 weeks if needed. Reporting in studio, Drew Reeves. Good day, Oregon.